What's up, everybody? It's your boy,
Blow Nose.
and today I'm going to talk to you about Las Vegas. So I recently went to Las Vegas, and it was different. Why would I go to Las Vegas right now? It's a weird time, isn't it? Well, it was my birthday.
Wow.
And I just turned the big 2-1 plus 14. Why Vegas? Because they're open. Kind of. There's parts of it open. I want to talk about the pros and cons of going to Vegas right now from my experience. Pro number one, cost. Right now, it is pretty cheap to go to Vegas in terms of flight and hotel. I paid around $200 for the flight round trip and $50 a night for the hotel, which is pretty good. And I stayed on the Strip. I stayed in the Flamingo, which is like nearly mid strip, just across from Caesar's Palace. You know, not the best hotel, but not the worst. It's definitely I would call it a mid-tier hotel casino. And it was pretty cheap. I mean, like, compared to other times I've been there, this was very, very cheap. So, that being said, I also booked the trip maybe 2 days before departure. If someone were to book a trip way in advance, you could probably do it for like dirt cheap. Pro number one, cost. Very low compared to, non-COVID 2020. Con number one, travel safety concerns. If you haven't traveled yet or haven't gone on a flight from a major airport yet, things are a little bit different. It's a different time, and they've taken more safety measures. For one thing, you got to wear a mask like the entire time. From the time you enter the airport, through your flight, and then leaving the next airport, you got to have a mask on your face, covering your nose. Don't forget to cover your nose. A lot of people don't do that. You gotta have a mask on the face at all times unless you're eating or drinking, and they're limiting a lot of that too. Like on your flights, at least on the flight that I was on the airline that I was on, Alaska Airlines, they weren't serving food, like meals, and they were just handing people drinks. You gotta open it yourself. They're not gonna pour it out for you anymore. If this is your first time, you should probably carry some hand sanitizer with you. Also, it wouldn't hurt to carry some wipes, because I use them to wipe any surfaces that my hands would touch. So that includes like everything around my seat on the airplane. So I'm talking armrests, the belt buckle, the tray table. I'm just wiping pretty much every surface around me that was accessible by my hands. And it might not be necessary, but I think it's a good safety measure to take. I would highly recommend it, but that's one of the cons. Now you got to do that. That's just an extra step you got to do. Pro number two of going to Vegas right now, there are less people going to Vegas right now. So if you're feeling adventurous like I was, there are a good amount of people who are not feeling as adventurous. There's definitely, that crowd of people who definitely shouldn't go if they've got health concerns, but it's a weird time to be around a bunch of people, so there's a lot of people who aren't taking that risk. I understand that it's a risk. And I understood the risk about doing this whole trip. But that being said, there's way less people than you would normally see in Vegas. It's pretty nice not having to walk around, shoulder to shoulder with people, or just be in huge crowds, just trying to get in and out of casinos or wherever you gotta go. So that was pretty nice. That's definitely a pro. So that's pro number two. Con number two, closures. By the time this video gets posted, I don't know if this is gonna be the case, but when I was there, all shows, we're talking Boyz II Men, Jabberwockies, Barbra Streisand. I don't know if Barbra Streisand's still there. Celine Dion. I don't know if she's still there either. Thunder from Down Under. You're feeling, a little nasty. Ladies. Cirque du Soleil. They were closed. None of those were operating when I was there, so that was not an option. Probably falls under the same rules as like a live concert. Clubs, I believe, were closed. I saw people dressed up, but I didn't see any lines at the club or anybody going to clubs. I'm pretty sure all the clubs were closed. I wasn't really trying to go to any club, so I was cool without it. I just don't want to be in a room with a bunch of people without masks, drinking, yelling, just being dumb, breathing on each other. It's probably my worst fear right now is being in a confined space with people just breathing without masks. It's a weird fear, but it's real. When I was there, standalone bars were closed. Standalone bars being ones that don't serve food. So if the bar didn't serve food and was only serving drinks during the time that I went, they were closed. I think they were supposed to open back up this past weekend, but I don't know if that was actually the case. One of the things that I went down there for was this standalone bar that served frozen drinks called Fat Tuesday. And most of the ones that were at least in the vicinity of where I was staying, they were all closed. I was able to find a couple, but they used that loophole of serving food. So if they served like chips, or like one of them served hot dogs for $1. I mean, I was cool with that too. That's because the frozen drinks from Fat Tuesday are delicious. Now, would I have gone had I known standalone bars were closed? I'm not sure if I would have, if I'm being honest, because Fat Tuesday was a big draw for me. But yeah, con number 2, closures. Pro number 3, free masks and sanitizer at every casino, at least every casino that was open. So every casino was requiring that people, when they walk in, have a mask on. And if they didn't have a mask on, they were going to give you one for free. And they had hand sanitizer stations pretty much everywhere on the casino floor. They had security making sure people were wearing the masks if they weren't eating or drinking. They had staff there actively cleaning slot machines and whatnot, surfaces that people would touch. It was really cool that they were, enforcing masks and stuff. That part made me feel at ease. Con number 3, limited open businesses. If the business wasn't straight up closed and they were open, there are still limitations, such as the amount of people you can let into a bar/restaurant or even a retail store. When I go to Vegas, I like to look for stuff to buy, aka sneakers. And I went to a few sneaker shops, and there was one called Urban Necessities that I went to. It had a really long line, and it took about a half hour to 45 minutes to even get into the place. And even with that, you also have the social distancing rules. So everybody had to stay in line. Everyone had to stay 6 feet apart. So that made the line even longer. And then by the time you get in there, same rules apply on the inside. Don't be too close to other people, and keep your mask on, all that fun stuff. With that being said, since not everything was open, even though there are less people there, it still felt like there was the normal amount of people, because that amount of people were packing the few businesses that were open. This also affected the pool at my hotel, and they were limiting it to 25% capacity. Now, you could bypass that whole thing if you were to buy like a day bed or a cabana or whatever, and those were like $800, and I wasn't about to do that because it's not that cool. $800 is more than the amount I spent on the flight and hotel combined. Word of advice, I don't think you really want to hang out in a Vegas pool in the last hour of it being open, because I've seen some weird stuff in the pool during the last hour of it being open. Oh man, yeah. The thing just changes color, and you can see a layer of oil at the top. It's disgusting. No way I was going to do that. Why go to Vegas right now? It's my birthday, man. I didn't want to just stay in Washington and just go to the Cheesecake Factory again. Although I do love the Cheesecake Factory. That's a dope spot. I'm not talking shit about the Cheesecake Factory. That place is fantastic. But I didn't want to do it again this year for my birthday, COVID or not. I wanted to spend it at Guy Fieri's restaurant. Oh man, that place was awesome. Shout out to the mayor of Flavortown, Guy Fieri. Came through. Should you go to Vegas right now? If you're cool with all the extra safety stuff you got to do at the airport, on the flight, and in like public areas, yeah, I would say it's worth it. But if you're going for the club and the pool, standalone bars, and also the shows, it's probably not a good time to go. I'm not gonna lie to you. I would say Vegas right now is 50% of what it used to be, but it's also 50% of the cost to do it. Overall, I didn't feel unsafe. I didn't feel like I was taking a huge risk, because taking the same measures I do when I go out in public at home. Use those same practices over there, and you'll be good. Don't worry about it, man. Vegas, baby. Still Vegas. Kind of. So if you want to go, I think you should go. I think that's it. I think that's all I need to say. Thanks for watching.